Ever walk into a place and just, I don't know, feel like you belong, like it was designed just for you?
It's that unexplainable magic that we're going to try and decode today, right? With the Gamble House.
Absolutely. The Gamble House in Pasadena, it's this icon of arts and crafts architecture, but honestly, there's so much more to it than just a pretty facade.
Oh, totally. It's like it's less about the building itself and more about this whole philosophy of art and life.
Yeah.
We're talking about diving deep into the heart of the arts and crafts movement, which, by the way, was a straight-up rebellion against the whole mass-produced thing that the Industrial Revolution brought about.
Right. So it's the late 1800s. Factories are spitting out furniture like nobody's business, and suddenly everyone's living in these like carbon copy homes. I can see why people craved something unique, handcrafted.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where the arts and crafts movement comes in, right?
Yeah.
It was all about bringing back that appreciation for things made with actual human hands. With natural materials, every piece had its own story. You could feel the maker's touch. Totally different from the monotony of the factory line.
And this is where the Gamble House comes in, designed by, drumroll please, the legendary Green and Green brothers, basically rock stars of the movement.
Oh, Pioneers is more like it. The Gamble House, it's like their masterpiece. You know what I mean? But there's this other layer to the design story that we got to talk about. It's kind of surprising.
Hit me with it.
Japanese influence.
Wait, hold up. Japanese influence in California in the early 1900s. Now that's a curveball. Tell me more.
Okay, so picture this. Imagine the peacefulness of a Japanese garden. The way the buildings and nature just flow into each other, and all that natural light everywhere. You see that in the Gamble House, those iconic sleeping porches.
Okay, now those porches are what dreams are made of. I'd never leave.
Right. It's about feeling connected to the outdoors. But it goes deeper than just looks.
For sure. I can tell there's more to it.
This Japanese influence, it's about creating harmony between the home and its surroundings. A sense of peace, like you truly belong there.
So we're not just talking about building a nice looking house. It's about a whole vibe, an experience.
Nailed it. And that's where the Green brothers were geniuses. They took this handcrafted feel of arts and crafts and then wove in those Japanese ideas of balance and harmony, and bam, a house that's beautiful inside and out. It just feels right.
You've totally sold me. Fighting against the boring with handcrafted everything and bringing nature indoors. The Gamble House is already blowing my mind.
All right, so we're about to get into the really fun stuff with the Gamble House.
Oh, I'm ready. Bring on the fun stuff.
Because this house, it's practically overflowing with these little genius details.
Okay, you got to give me an example. Like, what kind of details are we talking
Well,
about?
think about storage for a second. Like, imagine life before closets were a thing. Can you even imagine?
That's wild. I guess I never really thought about it.
Right. But the Green brothers, they were way ahead of the game.
So they weren't just using, like, those big, clunky wardrobes.
No way. They took storage and made it like this secret mission.
A secret mission. Okay, I'm so intrigued.
They'd be like, let's tuck this drawer under a window seat, or boom, hidden compartment behind this paneling. So clever.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I can just imagine being a guest there and having no idea.
Exactly. Everyone's admiring the clean lines, thinking it's just so spacious. Meanwhile,
Secret storage everywhere. They're like magicians of the house design world or something.
totally. And this whole hidden in plain sight thing, it wasn't just for storage. The transitions between rooms, forget about your basic doorways.
Oh, tell me more about that.
They were masters of flow. They used curves, molding, those amazing beams, and you just glide from space to space.
It's like they choreographed the whole experience of moving through the house.
Yes, and it makes those dramatic staircases we see in arts and crafts homes make total sense.
It's not just about looking grand. It's like those staircases are guiding you, leading you through the space.
Right, and that takes us back to the heart of arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Every single detail, big or small, it was intentional. It was about this beautiful marriage of form and function.
Thinking about all this, all those details.
It makes you want to just step inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like living in a work of art. Speaking of which, can we talk about those stained glass windows for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. They're like a whole other level of genius in this house.
Because they're not just pretty to look at, right? It's like they actually change the whole mood of the house throughout the day.
Totally. They play with the light, casting different colors and patterns depending on the time of day. You're basically living inside a kaleidoscope.
It's like the house is breathing with the sun. So cool. Okay, and then there's all that amazing wood everywhere.
Yeah, the wood. Don't even get me started.
But seriously, reading about the Burmese teak, that rich mahogany, all that oak, it's like you can practically feel the warmth just thinking about it.
Right. And it's not just what you see. It's the texture, the grain, how it feels under your hand. The Green brothers, they considered every single
They
sense.
were like symphony conductors of home design. But okay, let's be real for a minute. We're talking about a house that's over 100 years old. Why should we, sitting here in our modern world, care?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I
Mhm.
think the Gamble House answers it itself. It reminds us that our homes, they're more than just places to crash at the end of the day, you know? They could be these little pockets of peace, these havens that actually shape how we experience the world around us.
It's like they were saying, hey, your home should be as unique as you are. And honestly, that's a message we need now more than ever,
Yeah.
especially with all the mass produced stuff, the cookie cutter apartments. It's easy to forget.
100%.
Yeah.
And you can see that desire for something different coming back in a big way, you know?
Yeah.
This whole trend of sustainability, handcrafted goods, people want things with soul again.
Totally. We want our homes to reflect who we are, not just be places where we store our stuff.
Exactly. And I think that's why the Gamble House still matters today. It's proof that good design has the power to inspire us, to connect us to something bigger than ourselves. Even after all these years, it's timeless.
So well said. And, it makes you wonder, what could we learn from a place like the Gamble House, even in our own homes? What little touches could we add to make them feel a little more intentional, a little more personal, a little more us? Because I think that's the real legacy here.
It's about creating spaces that truly reflect who we are, you know? And that's a beautiful thing.
It really is. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the Gamble House. It's been an absolute pleasure exploring this architectural masterpiece with you.
The pleasure was all mine. Until next time.